While many coaches have been successful at various times over their careers, our next inductee has led his teams to sustained success over 34 years. In that time at Ellington High School from 1987 to 2020, he reached the state tournament 29 times, played in 7 state championship games, won 3 Class M state titles. Overall, he recorded 401 wins, 63 ties, and only 179 losses. Incredibly, from 2007 to 2009, Ellington had a run of 45 consecutive games without a loss. His teams were recognized for academic success 7 times by the NSCAA and sportsmanship 5 times by the Central Connecticut Soccer Officials Association. Personally, he earned the Hugh Greer Distinguished Service Award, the Connecticut High School Coaches Association Boys Soccer Coach of the Year Award 2 times, and the NSCAA Adidas Small School Coach of the Year Award. And maybe most importantly, as is inscribed on his induction plaque, he helped players to realize that being part of something bigger than themselves, a team, is memorable and fun. For his soccer career and outstanding accomplishments as boys soccer coach at Ellington High School, please join me in welcoming Roy Gurnon into the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame.
Well, I don't have any international tales. Good evening, and thank you very much for taking time to attend this really wonderful Connecticut tradition. We call it Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the 2025 inductees, Tom, Jim, Kathy, Junior, Hank, and Tiffany. What an unbelievable amount of expertise we have up here. A special thanks to the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame Committee, and especially to Bill Duffy, whose tireless effort in regards to this event is remarkable. Not on my little sheet here, but I first met Bill. We didn't actually know we met each other. My first coaching job was at E.O. Smith. I was on the women's side, and Bill was practicing on the guys' side with the high school team. So yeah, that was my first time with Bill. Anyway, to my family and friends, I thank you for being here and being present here tonight. I am honored. Thank you to my beautiful and patient wife, who I caused to miss or be late to many family gatherings and special occasions. One day when we were talking soccer, we realized that the soccer season at Ellington High School usually ran from mid-August to mid to late November, because we were so successful in the state tournament. As a matter of fact, we had a 65-26 record in the state tournaments, which we figured out was equivalent to 6 extra years of regular seasons. And my wife said, and without pay. Fun fact, she was also an assistant coach at Ellington High School for a year during budget cuts. Darlene, I love you. She was pretty good at coaching too. Thank you to our lovely daughters, Kate and Karen, who were dragged to more than their share of soccer games and practices. They both played in college at WPI and at UConn. One time when the girls were younger, I brought them to a training session at UConn, where Coach Reed was the coach. Everything was going great, and they said they wanted something to eat, so they went to the car, and as if on cue, Coach Reed starts into one of his famous swearing rants on some suspect of the team, and the kids returned after the outburst like nothing happened. Ray, thanks for the perfect time. Kate married a former player, Jim Honda, who was part of a 2003 team that made it to the state finals and ushered in an unbelievable 20-year run at Ellington High School. Karen, who has been a college head coach since she was 26 years old, who I now work with, or who I work for, is married to John Perrin, who played a different kind of football, but we don't hold that against them. Thank you to my fellow coaches throughout the years. Longtime assistant coach Geff, who I first met at Tolland Middle School when he moved to Tolland. We have way too many stories and bus rides and van rides and soccer conventions. Geff is presently traveling as usual with his wife Doreen. I believe he's presently in Arizona. Geff, you're the best. I would also like to give a shout out to Bob Krause and the late Bob Tedford. I have even had the pleasure of working with former players as coaches Ryan Tishon and John and Bailey Bassett. I also have had the privilege of working with my new friend, Dave Stearns at Northeast United Soccer Club. I was also a club coach for 20-something years, and Dave was working with me most of those years. I'd also like to thank all the opposing coaches, many of whom are here. Thank you for the competition and the friendship. I would be remiss if I did not thank all of the soccer friends and families that have supported all of the teams that I have worked with over the years. But most of all, I'd like to thank the players. And I mean all the players, not just the All-American or the Scholar All-American or the State Player of the Year or the Regional Player or the kids that played on championship teams, but also the player that didn't get to play as much as they wanted to. It was my pleasure to work with each and every one of you. I am certainly not here at the Hall of Fame dinner based on my playing ability. However, I really did enjoy playing in the Connecticut soccer leagues. For those older folks here might remember some of these names: the Tri-Town United, the Northeast United, the World Class United, I think, was it Franz Innocence? I think that was a team there. And my last playing years were with a drinking establishment, also known as the soccer club, the Irish Club in Glastonbury. Coming out of high school, I was actually headed to the Coast Guard Academy to play basketball. However, Joe Maroney reached out to me. Little did I know, he also reached out to another 50 other first years, and we all showed up to play on the freshman team back in 1975. And actually, there's about 4 or 5 of them, or maybe even 6 of them over there at that table. Thanks for coming, guys. Also a fun fact, John Blomstrand, Connecticut Hall of Famer, was the UConn player who brought me on my recruiting trip, recruiting campus trip. So, thanks, John. I'm a retired educator. I worked as a science teacher for 36 years. I loved teaching, but I was really passionate about soccer. My first taste of high school coaching, I had the pleasure of, I know I don't look that old, but my first taste of high school coaching, I had the pleasure of working with Austin Daniels, who we all miss, at E.O. Smith for a year. We were state champions. Fun fact, 2025 Hall of Fame inductee Catherine was one of the stars of that team. When I got a teaching position in the Tolland school system where I grew up, I was also hired as the head boys coach at Ellington High School. Those are arch rivals. That was in 1987 when the EHS journey started and ended 34 years later. 3 state championships, 10 state finals, 15 semifinals, 20 quarterfinals out of the 20 years we made the state tournament. I coached our daughter's travel team. I coached a lot. I coached our daughter's travels teams. Then around 2000, I started coaching at Northeast United Soccer Club, and I coached 2 teams for many of those years. I also coached with the New England Mutiny. We made it to WPSL finals, Final Four in Sacramento, California, my very first year as the head coach. That was a wild ride, and Joe Farrar, wherever you are, you're a treasure. I have been an assistant coach for our daughter's Karen's college teams the past 8 years. We currently are at Union College in New York, but before retirement, After Ellington after Ellington practices, I would travel to Newbury College in Boston, Massachusetts to make practice from 8 to 9:30 training sessions. And then she was only there a year, and then she started at Nichols College, and I did the exact same thing, all while still teaching. Yeah, soccer junkie. Having the opportunity to have an impact on young people's lives is an unbelievable honor and responsibility. I took that responsibility to heart, and I loved almost every minute. I wanted all of the student athletes to find some success and have memories that lasted a lifetime. I also tried to be fair, consistent, and have fun. There is something special about coaching a group of players and helping them to develop as a team that really work to be a part of something bigger than themselves and do something great or something they thought they couldn't do. We did lots of things to create those memories. Preseason soccer trips, runs with Roy, dinners at Coach's or someplace else, s'mores at the Gurnon campfire, EHS Soccer Olympics, breakfast in the parking lot, Cape Cod, the alumni games, and winning. Winning was pretty fun. But practices were just plain magical. Players doing extraordinary things every day and just being kids. I looked forward to training always, every day. We were very fortunate to have outstanding players who were selfless and cared about the team first. It was always about team chemistry for me. We certainly won our fair share of games, but maybe even a few that we shouldn't have because we were more committed together than the opponent. A number of former players are here, so I guess we can add this Hall of Fame event to our shared experiences and memories. I know that I will. Speaking of memories, just a couple of quick stories. Night games with portable lights and noise, they were just a headache. But players loved them and parents loved them. Tim McCluskey, the AD at EHS, would always get all worked up about the games. So I told Tim, I said, Tim, I'll just tell the players, if they want to play at night games, just win state tournament games. We played a lot of night games. Driving vans. So we usually took a preseason trip. We were traveling in vans to Massachusetts on a preseason trip. As we were getting off the Mass Pike at the Worcester exit, we were greeted by police cars with flashing lights pulling us over. The policeman said, "We have been looking for you guys all over the Mass Pike." I said, "What is going on?" The policeman closed the door to the van and said, "Ask your players," as he walked away. Well, it just so happens that some of the players were creating funny signs and putting them on the window. One of the signs said, "Help, we've been kidnapped." Well, I know that I am thankful for having been kidnapped by the coaching profession. Let me just end with, we have 3 beautiful grandchildren. We also have one on the way. Well, not we, but they do. Wouldn't that be great, darling?
I like that voice.
But our grandkids, they do not call me the regular, usual grandfather names like Grampy or Pops or Grandpa. No, not me. To Evelyn, who is 7, I am Coach. To Daniel, who is 3, I am Coachy. To Jack, who is going to be 2 in a couple of weeks, I am Doach. And I don't think it gets any better than that. I am honored and humbled to be a part of the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame. Thank you and peace.